everybody, welcome to Techano. My name is Petra Verbruggen. I live in the Netherlands, and if you want to support the show, then that is possible in a few weeks or so. I don't know when I get to that via Patreon, but for the time being, you can do that on Support Techano via techano.net/support. How are you? It's great to see you here with your smiling faces. It is Saturday. It is exactly 7 o'clock. That means that it's time for Tech Condo. Now, this is live recorded, and we will be, of course, talking about a countdown. Why do you need it? And how can you use it for your church service? So this is episode 2 in that series. This will be something that will be across the year for some time, but not every single week, because I also want to talk to you about other stuff as well. But if you like that kind of content, then at least subscribe to YouTube or like the page on Facebook. And I am indeed live, so that means that I can also bring in some cool people, like, for example, Jason, my friend from Canada. Happy Saturday, friends, he says. And all the way from Belgium, which is basically our neighbor, so it's like 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, maybe it's long, but it's not that far away. It is Rudy. How are you? Great of you to be here and live and direct. All right, so let's get straight into the content. And before I do that, I want to show you how we create the starting point of our church service every single Sunday. Now, I will show you to you without any sound, so that I can talk about it, what you see. So what you see here is basically the
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
That's not your problem. So this is the way that that we start the show, so you can see that it builds up, and this is where everything is done automatically. This is another timer that we have right here as well. So there are different timers involved, and I will talk about the first one and the second one in today's episode. That is what you can expect. Now, why should you use a countdown timer? Let's start with the basics first. The reason why we use a countdown timer is to first and foremost say to your followers that it will be coming shortly. Now, I have chosen not to really count down to a certain amount of time, so like minutes, seconds, so that you can actually see in 2 minutes. Like in my own show, you actually see the timer going down, and it starts right at 00. It starts. Now, that is on purpose that I don't do that for the church service. And the reason for that being is that it's very difficult to really pinpoint the exact moment in time, and we just, from the perspective of the local television station, we show what is happening, the service. We're not part of the church itself, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. I think that if you're part of the church, you can actually say, okay, go. But that is something that we cannot do, and that's also the reason why we don't do that. We just we have an agreement at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. So yeah, that is tomorrow. They start, and it can be 9:30 and 10 seconds or 15 seconds, or sometimes a little bit less, but typically it's roughly that time. So you don't see the minutes and seconds in our area, but you do see at the starting point, I'm going back again a little bit, you do see that we used a time on the top right point. And the reason why we do that is really because it's important for us that you can see it. By the way, at the back of the logo, this is real live. This is real. This is live. This is actually a video. And this is what we do here, is that the circle by itself, the only reason why I do that is that I want to tell the radio team, the team that gives radio, that the sound is on. This is just a way to show that to them. There's no other way. There's no bigger thing there. It's just a visualization to the other team that say, hey, you have to switch on the audio, and everything is fine. So how does it look like in our show? So as you can see right behind me, this is where this is the church project right there, and but with the cool parts is that I can actually show it to you. So this is what it looks like right here. So this is exactly how we do it. So we have here a black backdrop, and that black backdrop is actually a video. So behind this logo we have a video, and then it says the holy service from the big church, and it starts at 9:30 a.m. and it's live on radio TV station Venray and on Facebook itself. And here you've got the time, which is the current time. It's not necessarily a different time. And basically that is that. But of course we want to create that. Now before I do that, I want to show you a little bit what we're doing and where we are in our roadmap, because that's what we started just not so long ago. So this is the roadmap that we will be talking about today, and that is, of course, we're going to talk about adding the logo right here. And I also, maybe if we have some time left, it would be good to also talk about the second part, and that is obviously also to go live. That would be really cool if we could make that, but of course I do not know that for sure if that is feasible, but we'll see how far we can get that. The thing is that I want to make sure that you understand what I've done, and I'd rather take all the time in the world to show it to you than speed up. So that is the way that we're going to do it. So without further ado, let's talk about how to create that backdrop, the backdrop with the logo. Now, what I'm going to do for you is, and I'm actually going to show you how to do it yourself, but in this case, I'm going to create a like a cross, because I'm Catholic. So what I'll do is that I'll add a cross, but if you have a different religion, it's totally okay. You can use it for every religion. So just use your symbol or your church logo or something, and then do it like that. So this is the way that I do it. It's not the best way, it's just the way that I do it, and this is exactly what this whole series is all about. So without further ado, let me do that right now. I'm gonna start Photoshop 2020, which is the preferred solution that I use for all of my graphical stuff. But be aware there are a multitude of different other applications that you can use, and that is important to notice, because not everybody has that has Photoshop. It's not the most, let's say, cost-friendly alternative out there. It is quite not. It's not really. Well, it is expensive. So yeah, so I can imagine that you want to have something else. So for example, if you're on Mac, you have Pixelmator, which is a really nice tool as well. And you can also use another tool, and that is called, I am opening it up so because I want to make sure that I know exactly what it's called, Affinity Photo. That is also a very good tool. What is the difference? Well, not so much. Affinity Photo and Pixelmator are actually applications that you only need to install. Well, you have to buy it once, and then you have it, right? So, and maybe you have to pay for an update a little bit, but it's not shocking. For Adobe, you have to pay a monthly fee, and that can be quite challenging. I can imagine that for you. So that's the reason why I'm a bit hesitant to really say it differently. So without further ado, let's go into this mode right here and show you how I do that, how to create that backdrop. Okay, so what I do is I open up Photoshop and I click Create New right here on the left hand side, Create New. And if I click on that, it will pop up this right here. And this is actually, there are a multitude of different things, but what you need to go to is Film and Web, and then you click on HDTV 1080p. That is a very important one. Just single click it, don't double click it yet. It's important to, and I'm actually gonna go to this because it's very important that you get to know exactly what you need to do. Is that click on HDTV 1080p, then go to background contents. Background contents. It states here white. It can also maybe be black, but it's important to not take one of those two, but make it transparent. So that's the fourth option, transparent. So go to background contents and make it transparent. Why do we want to make it transparent? Is because, of course, I want to play video behind it. So we click on create, and it will start to create this white backdrop right here. So this is what it looks like right now. So let me check if there are any questions. No, there are no questions. Then I'll just continue with that right there. So you did see how I did that, right? Now, what is the next step? Now, the next step is that, and I need to get rid of my microphone here for a little bit, is that I want to have a layer. So what I typically do is that even though it's not strictly needed, I want to name the layer 1 background. So just call it background, and maybe even call it transparent. This will help you in the future to decide where you are in the whole the whole thing, right? So that's the reason why I do that. Then I want to create a additional layer, and that is right there. So what is a layer? Let's talk about what a layer is. Is that it is actually a stacking up of different graphics. So that you start with the background, then you add a layer, then you add another layer and another layer. It's like a hamburger. Yeah. So let's create a new layer on top of it, and we call this the gradient. So what we want to do is we want to create a gradient. Now, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to make sure that it is as easy as I can get it, because I want you to be able to do it yourself as well. So I'm going to use a preset that is built into Photoshop. So you don't have to do too much, but at least you know how to do it. So we need to create a gradient. And a gradient is depicted by this icon right here. So it's from dark to via gray to white. Then you click on that, and then you go on the. What happens with Photoshop is that whenever you click something here, above it will change. So the sub menu will change. So now we're in gradient, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna select one of the presets, and the preset that I'm going to use is not based on blues, purples, or pinks or whatever. We're actually going to do it on grays, or let's just say grays. Yes, that's what we're going to do, grays. So these are the ones that you have right off the box. You don't have to do anything about that. It's just there. I like my church service to be as let's say laid back as possible, because it's all about the church service, not about all kinds of bells and whistles. Now, that being said, I did see that, for example, in the United States, they have a lot of big lights and cool music, etc. I am a bit jealous about that, because I would like to see that over here in the Netherlands as well. However, that is not the case. So in that case, I want to make it a little bit less of a big thing, right? I want to make it more focused towards the church service. That's the reason why I've chosen for white and grays and not so much of color. That is the reason. So now all we have to do is just make sure that we have that selected. So we have to select one of these. I'm going to go with this one right here, or maybe, yeah, that one. I like that one very much. Then all we have to do is make sure that we hit the space bar, because the space bar will make sure that whatever you do, it will follow a straight line, like from top to bottom, or from side to side, or diagonally. it will not do something in between, and that's exactly what I want. So I'm gonna make sure that I have my mouse somewhere on the canvas. It doesn't really matter where, and I'm just gonna hold a line and then say, so I'm holding my shift and my left hand mouse, and at the same time I'm doing this. There you go. We have a gradient like that. Bam. So this is the backdrop. So this is really that's a gradient backdrop. So behind this, again, we have the transparency. So I can actually show that to you by where's my mouse? There you go. By removing this eye icon, and this is the backdrop. So this is the transparent backdrop, and on top of that we have the gradient backdrop. Now, for this particular backdrop, I want to create a cross that is transparent, and you will see the video behind it. So this is just a way to do that. We use the logo of the station, but we could use a cross for now. So what I do is that I'm going to the text tool right there, and I'll make sure that I just pick one of the fonts that I have. I will pick something that everybody has for this example. So I'm gonna take Arial and bold, and then I want to make it like 600 pixels, so make it very big, and then I'm gonna put a plus there, a plus sign. Boom, there you go. Oh, not an equal sign, but a plus sign right there. So yeah, but Petra, you said that you want, oh yeah, and by the way, you can use this nice tool that once you're in the center, it states it is in the center by that purple line. So this is that center. Also, it's important to make sure that you are in the blue lines, because that will prevent you to be outside of the picture. So that is the second thing. But there you go. We have a plus, but that's not a cross, right? So what we're going to do again is that we're going to select another time on the text tool, and then we're going to do a pipe sign, and that's a straight line like so. So let me see. So this one, no, it's that one right there, a pipe. Then I'll just add that one right on top of that cross. And I see now that it's not 100% perfect the same. So what I'll do is that I'll help it a little bit by adding maybe a little bit of a, so now we have to be a little bit careful. So what I'm going to do now is that I am going to make this a little bit bigger so that it is more in line with the plus sign. So maybe 610. All right, then maybe 620. Or 640 maybe even. Yeah, that looks quite nice already. There you go. Or maybe the plus sign a little bit less, and that's also fine. Let's make the plus sign a little bit less. 590 or something. Boom. So now it's not perfect. There you go. It's for now. I am quite happy. It's not perfect, but it's quite. You will see what it will become at the later stage. All right. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to combine those two and rasterize them, so it becomes one. So it becomes a picture, not a piece of text. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to merge the two layers. So I will combine them into one big thing, and then. The cool part is that the only thing that I need to do is hit the quick selection tool, select it in the center, boom, and then just hit delete, and it's gone. Oh wait, yeah, sorry, undo. Need to do it correctly. I have to be on a gradient, and then I hit delete, boom, and then once I remove that plus the cross, you'll see it becomes transparent. So this becomes a transparent backdrop of our show. And then after that, we'll just add some text here, and we're just gonna say here Oh, that's a little bit big then, of course. Let's put it on 300 or so. A little bit too much still. 100. There you go. Church service. Oops. Now. Service starts at 9:30. And then you just make sure that it's a little bit centered and it looks nice. And there you go. That is creation of the backdrop. And the only thing that you then need to do is that you have to go to File, export it. But you have to export it as PNG. PNG. If you click on that, and then you just make it a PNG file, and then say template or show starts or something, then you can use that. That is then the backdrop right there. And I can actually use it with this show, of course. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna add that as an input. Let me show my screen. There you go. So let's go in. I will be coming to your comments in a second, guys. Sorry for that, but I want to make sure that it's to deliver the content first. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna add the image and add it to, I don't even know where I put it. I'm that bad. Where did I put it? Let me check where I put it right now. Export PNG, and it is, oh, it's there. Okay. The video studio. All right. So it's right there. Boom. There it is. Let me say okay. And then once I go to this shot right here, I can actually add it like so. So now, yeah, it's a little bit different, a bit strange that you can only see that. And what we also actually do is that we don't really do it this way. We actually make it a little bit more transparent. Due to the fact that we want to make sure that it's not that obvious that it's only this part. It needs to be a little bit more friendly, so to speak. So in order to do that, what we typically do is that we utilize the transparency tool within vMix. So let's go back here. So what we do now is that on the right hand, we have a cogwheel right here. If we click on that, and it actually starts always here, and we go to color adjustments right there, and then you see alpha or transparency, so that's under color adjust. And then we just play around a little bit. We just make it a little bit less. Typically I like it for 220. And then if I just add it, then let's go back to this shot right here and then show it right there. Boom. So now it is still a little bit of a back. You do see the little bit of the backdrop, but you do see still that it's a logo. And of course this is me very close to the camera, but you can imagine that like this, it looks really, really cool, right? So that is the first thing that you can do. But you also saw that it was a little bit different, right? Because I actually did like so. Let me show you how it looks like again. So if I go, so what I've done is that I actually changed the overlay of 3. So also vMix has what they call overlays or layers on top of each other, and you have your video, then you have 1. On top of that, there's 2. On top of that, there's 3. On top of that, there's 4. So again, the hamburger. So 0 is your video. 1 is a layer on top. 2 is an additional layer on top. 3 an additional layer, and 4 you get the point. Now, what we want to do is that I want to say what needs to be done if I press 3. So within vMix, you have here you get the overlays, but you also have your overlays below the input. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So again, if I click 3 here, you'll see this. If I go back, so you see what happens. So it's on top of everything. It will show it like so, and it's gone. So these are overlays. So the overlay effect, so to speak, is just basically fade in and fade out. So what we want to do now is we want to change that. We want to make sure that it's a little bit different. In order to do that, we actually need to use the overlay menu. So I'll just go into the top shot right here. And on the right hand side, there you see overlay. Just click on it. And it will show you this screen. Now this is a bit of a awkward screen, I have to admit that, but just bear with me. So we are interested in number 3. Why number 3? It happened to be number 3 for a long time, and I also want to have a logo on top of it. So I don't want to have it on 4. That's the highest level. I want to have it on the level below that. So I'm just gonna click 3, and the effect is not fade. No, it is zoom. And the effect, I actually make it a little bit less fast, so I make it 1000. I say okay. So now if I press the 3 on this one right there, you will see that it will zoom in and zoom out. That is an option that you have there. So that was not the correct one. So I'm gonna use the different one. And let me check which one I need. Oops. I have to go to overlay again. So that's definitely not zoom. It probably will be cross zoom. Let me check that one quickly. I think it's cross zoom. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. That's exactly the one. So you see, I also make some issues. So of 3, if you use cross zoom, you'll see this happening. So zoom in and then zoom out. So that is how we do the first one, the easy one, the one without any other stuff. Well, we do still have a timer. And we're giving you the current timer. But before I start with that, let me check if there are some comments so that we can take that into account. Rita says, why don't you use a single font? There's a cross on it because I am lazy and I don't know how to do that. Well, I might know how to do that, but I didn't figure that out yet. So, Rudy, you're totally right. That is definitely also a possibility. You do have symbol fonts as well. Hey, Kathleen, what's going on? How are you? Fantastic to see you here. Really appreciate that. So, yes, Rudy, you're totally right. That is also an option that you have right there. Now, so what we've seen is now that we have our backdrop with a nice gradient. You can see a little bit inside of that, but you also saw that circular thing. Now, that circular thing, I didn't create that myself. That was actually done by somebody else, and that is Paul Dixon. And Paul Dixon is a friend of the show. He's actually also responsible for most of the graphics of the show. So that is also the reason why I want you to at least take that into account to verify that for yourself, what you like about that. So I am actually now going to the countdown timers so that I can show you what it looks like. Ooh, that's a nice one. So here you have a let's go to my screen. Let's go to this one right there. So if you go to livestreamingpros.com/collections/graphics, or alternatively just go to merch.livestreamingpros.com and then navigate to graphics and countdown timers. You'll see that Paul Dixon created a plethora of different countdown timers. the only thing that you have to do is to pay him or them a certain amount of money, like $27 or something. But the cool part is, once you have done that, it's basically very simple, because what you get is a zip file, and that zip file looks like this, and there is a movie file, and there's a vMix timer.gt zip file. And the only thing that you have to do, have to do two things. You have to take this movie file and this GT zip file, and yes, there is a README file, but I'm lazy, you know that, and then drag it to your vMix site. So I'll do that. So I'll switch the display. Boom. Oh, other one. There you go. And then I'll go down, and I'm just gonna drag those two to vMix right there. Boom. So here you got the white background circular thing, and you've got the show starts in 00 seconds or something. So what we do here is that before we start this, we have to press loop. So there's a loop button right here, and then press play. So now it will continue to play all the time. It will not change at all. It will change. It will be there for the full time. Now we can also go into the vMix timer and then click on the cogwheel. Oh, sorry, that was wrong. Right click on the center of the input, click on it, go to title editor, and then you can change the show starts to the service starts, for example, like so. And you actually see it happen right there already. And you can click on timer, and now you need to be careful. So you can do a few things. So if you go to settings, you can choose what your format is. The format can include also hours, but I do like my countdown to be with minutes and seconds. So I click on those, and then say how much the countdown can take. And in my opinion, I would say about 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, it will stop. So now if I press OK, it will automatically start counting down from 10 minutes. Now, let's keep it right there, and let's go back to this. So how much time does your countdown need to take? That is really up to you. It depends on what you want to achieve. So basically, you need to have a countdown timer to make sure that people are online at the start of the show, and it takes about 7 minutes at least before everybody gets a notification that you're going to go live. So that is the reason why I like to go with 10 minutes, but you can also go with 5 minutes. You can go with other minutes as well, but that is what is the best for me. So again, it's really up to you what you think. Now, I have chosen for 10 minutes, and what I want to do is that at the very end of those 10 minutes, I want it to go to my main camera. So in order to do that, I will go back to my vMix screen, and now what I typically do is that I want to combine those two in one nice environment. And the way that I do that is that I will go down and I will click on add input, go to color, which is roughly on the 2/3 on the way. Click on color, choose transparent for obvious reasons, because you want to have the background again transparent, just like Photoshop, what I showed you earlier. Click on that, and then you have a blank canvas. Then click on the cogwheel, go to multi-view. Then I want to add first the there you go, the classic white movie, which is the white circle thing. And then on top of that, I want to add the vMix timer right there. So now, yeah, note I've skipped number 1. I always do that. It's just best practice for me. It's just a matter of, because I have seen in the past a lot of times that I actually have to use there something, and I just from there I just use it like that. All right. So now it becomes one thing, and I can actually call it countdown timer, but for the sake of time, I'm just not going to do that. But, so this one I can actually put on number 3, and then boom, there you go. This is what you just actually also saw. Now, we're almost there, but I want to make sure that once this is done, it will automatically whoop, go back, and it will go automatically to my main camera. That's what I want to do. In order to do that, I need to have triggers. So triggers are automated steps that vMix does for you. You don't have to do anything about it. And we will be talking about triggers in more in-depth in a future episode of Taekwondo for the church service. So I'm going to show it to you now one time, but I'm not going to go in depth too much at the moment, just to let you know. So what I do is that you might think that you have to do it on this one right here, that the one that we just created together. No, that is not what we want. We actually want to do it on the timer itself, where you actually have created the timer. So go to that one right here and then click on the cogwheel and then navigate to triggers. And a cool trigger that you have is that you can actually say on countdown completed. So when you reach 000, do something. If I click on that, I can actually say, go to the overlay. So here you got a lot of functions that is built into vMix. Then go to overlay. And now you have to be careful. So we will be using number 3. And there's a difference between off and out. Off is really like, boom, off, stop. But I want to use the effect to get out. So that's the reason why I'm using 3 outs. And I say add. I want to add a second option, is that on countdown completed. I also want to go to cut to my main camera. I'm going to say add. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to speed up this a little bit just for the sake of time. So I'm going to click time editor, go to timer, go to settings, and then change it to 1 minute. And then at least I can start. Actually did it already, so that's fine. So I'm going to now add this one. So at 50 seconds, it will automatically show that. But I'm not going to wait for 50 seconds, of course. I will just go back now. And once we reach the 50 seconds, the 10-second markers, I will just go like so, and I will show you what will happen. So what you've learned is, in the meantime, you have learned to go add a logo on the start of the show. And we will also teach you how to go live at the moment in a few minutes. It's quite simple. I'm going to use Facebook for now, just because we are using that. But before I do that, let's go back to the wheel and show you, because it's 10 seconds. I'm just holding my hands up. You see that in the back, not doing anything. So I'm just waiting for it to go to 1 second. Voop. There you go. That's it. That's how easy it is. All right. So last time you learned. Let's go back to the how do you say that? The roadmap. Let's go back to the roadmap. There you go. All right. So we have talked about the camera. We've chosen a camera. So that's up to you which one, but for example, a Sony camera with a nice XLR episode. We've chosen SDI or HDMI cables. We also inserted the video into vMix. We imported that into vMix, and now we've learned how to add a logo or a circular thing that Paul Dixon made in a very good way. And now we're actually going to go live. Not really, but I'm going to show you how to do that without doing it immediately. All right. In order to do that, of course, I'm going to go back to that screen right there. And we have it right there. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you how to set up a stream to Facebook. First, you go to here you have a stream button right there. You click on the clock wheel, and this will pop up a Facebook dialog. And you click, first you need to sign up. So if you click on this sign up, you will have to log in with your username, password of Facebook. And once you have done that, you go to Facebook settings. And then it will automatically show you, your own account. You can choose on which page you want to do it. For example, our station. Then you can fill in or have filled in live the church, some information on where you can find more information, and then you schedule it for example, tomorrow 07 at 09:27, because we go live 3 minutes in advance, and then change this to AM. And once I hit create stream, then you're almost done, because once you have done that, then you then say close, and then you say save and close right here. The only thing that you need to do the next time is to hit the stream right here, and then it will start the stream, and you are done. You're going live with vMix. So in 2 episodes, we have learned how to choose the camera, connect it to vMix, make a very nice starting point, a nice graphic to start with, a countdown timer, and now you just click the start stream button, and boom, you're live on Facebook. Next time, we will also we will show you how to do that a little bit better on Facebook and on YouTube. So that will be a separate topic, and how to stream to multiple streaming platforms at once. Maybe also give you some advice on what is best for you. But that will not be next week. It will be 1 week after. So like I said at the start of this show, I will do this roughly once every week. I'm going to talk about the church service. So every other week, and the other weeks we are going to talk about other stuff that we're working on. For example, I'm also working on creating an IKEA-based TV studio setup, for example, so it's not that expensive. I also want to talk to you about the new ATEM Mini Extreme, which is coming. I've ordered it. I am expecting it hopefully next week or the week after, so that we can talk about that in more detail. And so there are also other things that I want to talk to you about here at Taekwondo. Thank you very much for being here, and let me check one more time if there are some topics or people that have something. Yes, Gude says he loves the roadmap. Yes, I love that roadmap too. Actually, in all fairness, I have been using this roadmap, the style, also for my day-to-day job, and it's actually being very beneficial to let people understand what we're doing. But we are now going to, you now reached the first milestone. You can go live, but of course you want to make it even better, and that's what we're going to talk about, not next week, but the week after. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great one, and see you next week, because next week we will be back with a normal taekwondo, even though the church service will be there a week later. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.